Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me for your collective weekly reading for the week of February 24th to March 1st, 2020. And we are actually still in the midst of Mercury retrograde, and it kind of aligns with what I came upon when I was meditating on the energies for the week. So Spirit showed me a vision of somebody who was kind of sitting on a cliff. If you watched my weekend reading, the weekend love reading, it's a very similar scene. Or was it? I don't know if it was a weekend reading or if it was Mercury retrograde. I forgot which reading it was. Maybe it was actually. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. No, this month. Oh, I think it was for the monthlies. Excuse me. But there essentially is a very similar vision. So, I had a vision where somebody was kind of sitting at the edge of a grassy plain cliff, looking out into the ocean, and it was kind of like gloomy weather, and there was like a somber energy to it. And so it was as if this energy was it felt like kind of like longing for like ships that have sailed, kind of looking back at the past, and it's almost like this feeling of like waiting for a loved one to return home. That can go any which way. But what I was being shown after that was the sun did start to come out, and behind this person it was just it was like it was just beautiful scenery, like lots of greenery, lots of like flowers, and I even saw like a city off in the distance. And so I think the main message I was getting from that little vision was basically, even like don't spend your time worrying about whether somebody's going to come back. Focus that energy on what you do have and all the beautiful things in life to experience. But that doesn't mean like you can't like ignore what you feel, but it doesn't mean you have to dwell on it either. Yeah, so that's really all I got for that. So as usual, this reading can apply at any time you watch it, even though it is set for February 24th to March 1st. Keep in mind, time and energy are fluid, so if this message doesn't apply to you right now, it can apply at a later date. If it comes up with another person involved, given the vision I was getting, I'd imagine it's going to turn into a love reading, given how they usually go. So understand those energies can go vice versa. And, maybe one part can apply to you, and then another part can apply to the other person, vice versa, or none of them can apply. We'll see where it goes. So, I'm going to take a deep breath and connect with my higher self and spirit, and I do implore you to do the same. Call out to Spirit to please help myself and the collective and anyone watching this to hear, see, and know anything we need to hear, see, and know for the week of February 24th to March 1st, 2020. And yeah, I can't even believe February's almost over. I mean, I'm almost hitting my month mark. I think I started this page on the 4th. And so I'm going on a month. And I was kind of thinking about it today. It's gone by so fast. I've had so much fun doing this that I didn't even realize like how much time was passing. Like I think this is my 4th weekly reading. And so it's been a blast. It's been a huge learning experience. So I'm really grateful for everybody that stuck around. I saw the Lovers peep out, the King of Cups right here. So I'm grateful for everyone that stuck around this long, and anybody that's new, anybody that's been following me on Instagram for a long time, because I know some of y'all been there for a while. So I'm grateful for all of you, old and new. But we're going to see what we have in store. I'm using the Golden Dawn Tarot deck. So what do you have in store for the week of February 24th to March 1st, 2020, Spirit? And again, we're freestyling it, so whatever comes out, comes out. We got the 3 of Pentacles reverse. You have Death reverse. 4 of Cups. No, 5 of Cups, excuse me, reverse. 2 of Wands. And at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Chariot reverse. Okay, so we have the 5 of Cups reverse coming out a lot lately. I feel like it's been coming out in nearly every reading I've been doing for the, like, even just for mostly like collective readings. And so I'd imagine this is kind of a continuation of that story. And so the initial message I'm getting, this Two of Wands is kind of speaking to me of the Two of Wands and the Death reversed. Really, all of these cards are telling a story, but these two in particular are speaking out about essentially like needing to find balance within yourself. But more, I mean, that could be what it is, but it's like I'm getting this story of like you need to kind of make the decision to move on from whatever it is you're dwelling on. And it doesn't even have to be about love. I mean, it can be like dwelling on like your past self, you know what I mean? Like dwelling on, like it's okay to like grow into a new person and shedding old layers of yourself and missing old aspects of yourself, missing old aspects of your old life. You know, I think it's perfectly natural to have like a healthy grieving process of who you used to be. But if it does apply to love, it's kind of saying, because we do have the Five of Cups reverse, and as I've said before, Five of Cups upright, you have the three cups behind you full, 2 cups empty in front of you that you're focusing on. And so if we flip that, it's kind of you focusing on the 3 empty cups with 2 full cups behind you. And so I'm picking up on the story of like, Spirit is basically showing me somebody who may have just come to a close with somebody. Or like I feel like something like came to light and somebody learned something about. I don't usually like taking it this route, but Spirit's telling me that this might have to do with like a third party situation, given we do have the 3 cups in the reverse, or there's 3 cups pouring out because of the 5 of Cups reverse. And so Spirit's telling me like there was some kind of disappointment within, you know, a partnership that had to do with like a third party situation. And I think too, because we have the 3 of Pentacles reverse, that is essentially, I mean, to me, 3 of Pentacles in the upright is a card of balance. And so this is telling me that you may be feeling like you're having a hard time, I guess, like staying above water. And I guess I can kind of, you know, expand on the symbolism of the ocean that we saw in the vision. The Chariot in the reverse is telling me it's very similar energy to this 3 of Pentacles reverse. The Chariot in the reverse is essentially telling me that there's this lack of control within the, you know, within your like masculine and feminine energies, because it's like, I know a lot of the times when these types of situations come up in our lives and people hurt us, it tends to bring up, you know, parental issues, which oftentimes can reflect, you know, wounded masculine, wounded feminine aspects of ourselves, and even just like ancestral, you know, baggage that we take on from our lineage. And I think I spoke about this in another reading, I can't recall which, but, you know, that's a big thing I notice a lot of us experience is we're healing the karmic baggage of our ancestors, and that's a lot of the reason we will tend to go through certain situations, because it's a very similar lesson to something one of our ancestors might have experienced, but maybe didn't get to fully, you know, fulfill, you know, that lesson, or what have you. So I'm actually being called to clarify here. Okay, I think I'm actually going to clarify. Okay, I'm being told to use the cat deck. Wait, no, the dragon deck. I'm actually thinking of getting some new decks soon, because even before I started doing the readings for this page, I've had these decks for so long. I think the newest one I got was the Golden Dawn Tarot, and that was like, damn, I think that was before, yeah, that might have been at the beginning of last year. And then before that, like maybe 2 years ago, I got the Cat Tarot deck. And so I've had all these decks for a long time, and I love them, don't get me wrong. But I like to change it up a bit sometimes. And they have so many decks out now compared to when I was first shopping for them. So, we'll see. So let's see, we're going to clarify. I kind of want to clarify this like Chariot. Like, I like to just expand on a particular card, which I noticed, like if I expand on the overall energy, it tends to give a broader perspective of what we're looking at here. So we have the 9 of Wands reverse, and we have the 5 of Swords. Some more. We have the Fool. Let's see, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it fit. I want it to go off camera. So we have the Fool, and then we have Seven of Swords reverse. So I'm kind of picking up on a very similar energy that I got in the Scorpio reading for the weekend of 21st to the 23rd, I think it was. So it's just kind of like that overthinking type of energy. Is that really caught in your head? The Five of Swords to me kind of represents, it can represent like conflict in a relationship, but given we do have it with the Fool and the Chariot, this to me is just representing like just your kind of mental state, not necessarily any external circumstances you may be processing, but like this is kind of like reflecting the aftermath of particular circumstances you may be going through. And so the Fool, it's kind of like, it's like you kind of need to like you need to look at this in a new way, and you need to take a new approach to how you're looking at this situation and how you're processing things, and not necessarily dwelling too much on the same things, because I notice we can tend to get addicted to dwelling on things. It's like shadow work and, dwelling in certain, like if we're dwelling in sadness or we're dwelling in shame or guilt, that can become addictive because the comfort we find afterwards and the ways we comfort ourselves, that kind of fuels the cycle of addiction within those negative emotions. I don't like saying negative emotions because it's kind of like, it's given this like connotation that they're like bad emotions, and I really don't think that's the case. I think all emotions are healthy emotions so long as we handle them properly. So, just these kind of like overwhelming types of emotions with the Nine of Wands in reverse and the Seven of Swords reverse. This is telling me it's like, it's almost like a conflicting message from earlier. So it's like if we were getting the Seven of Swords in the upright, this to me would kind of represent within the mental space that you're kind of like, you're still trying to get over the fact that some kind of third-party situation happened. But given we do have it in the reverse with the Nine of Wands reverse, it's almost as if there's like a denial to face the truth of this situation. And I'm almost getting this message of like, you're like almost like you're blaming yourself for what happened. But I think we need to understand that, people have free will and people's actions don't always reflect you. Honestly, I mean, more often than not, they don't reflect you. People often are just very reactionary, very carnal, and they just live in a way that makes them happy, which everybody should to an extent. But if it's going to cause somebody a lot of pain, but like in a way that's like, because there's a difference between being selfish and doing what's best for you. I feel like there's a fine line between that. And so I'm kind of picking up on this energy where it's like you're almost just being too hard on yourself, and you need to kind of take a step back and look at the situation objectively. I know that's something I say a lot too, is like take a step back, look at it objectively, really get a bird's eye view. And just understand it's like, even though it's tough and even though that happened, it doesn't make you any less of a person, it doesn't make you any less worthy of, finding a fulfilling relationship, or really like just try not to let it affect your ability to love yourself. And like, just like stop beating yourself up, I suppose. That's really the only message coming through for that. Okay, I'm actually going to pull, I'm going to clarify, oh my god, I almost dropped the whole deck. I'm going to clarify what the book I thought to roll. Yeah, excuse me if my shuffling isn't so good. I've been trying to like replace my shower filter cartridge, and it's been stuck. And so like I didn't like cut my fingers, but like I was trying to undo it so much that they're just really raw. I think I did cut them a little bit actually. And so my hands and my fingers are just so sore. So shuffling the cards is like almost a little painful. But okay, let's cut the deck. And I'm gonna actually pull for those top four up there. We have the Two of Cups bottom of the deck. We do have the Prince of Pentacles. We have the Three of Pentacles reverse again. the Hierophant, and the Ten of Pentacles. I'm going to put this bottom of the deck here as well. So, yeah, I'm getting a couple of messages. The first one I'm getting here is it's like you gotta understand that where you're at right now is essentially what's going to lead you to this Ten of Pentacles. And I know sometimes I say the Ten of Pentacles is kind of like the ending of Karmic Cycles card. This is I think this is a card of Virgo. Looks like right there. It's a sign of Virgo. So while it can represent the end of Karmic Cycles, I feel like we can look at this two ways with the surrounding cards. So we have the Ten of Pentacles to the Hierophant, Three of Pentacles reverse, and the Prince of Discs reverse. And so it's essentially realizing that this relationship has run its course. You got to kind of come to terms with that. You have to learn to accept things as they end and not try to hold on to the ideas of the past and kind of like sitting there hoping and waiting that this person is going to come back into your life. Because if they wanted to, they would. You know what I mean? And I don't like to be the bearer of like bad news per se, but it's like, you know, this hits a little close to home as well. It's kind of like, you know, you can't expect people to meet you where you need to be met when they're busy living their lives, meeting themselves where they need to be met. Like, you know, like a lot of the times when people do walk away and they do leave, it's because they need to work on themselves. It's not always because of you. I mean, you know, I'm sure there are instances in which there's unhealthy dynamics, but there's just this sense of needing to come to terms with the fact that this is what it is, and just no more lying to yourself about it. That's what the Hierophant in the reverse is telling me. It's telling me that you may be kind of denying the lessons that are presenting themselves. It's almost like you're avoiding having to let go of this because you're hopeful that this person will come back because you have so much love for them. And that's perfectly fine. Acknowledge that. That is a healthy emotion. But don't let that unhealthiness become obsessiveness. You know what I'm saying? And the other story I'm getting here with the Ten of Pentacles, and it's like two sides of the same coin, right? And so it's like the idea of like learning to let go, like coming to terms with the situation. And yes, definitely the ending of like a karmic relationship or karmic cycles, but recognizing the fact that like this is basically a chapter within your book, you know, within your story. This is something you're going to be able to look back on. You know, when you get to a place in which you're with somebody that, you know, you feel happy with and somebody that fulfills you, you're going to be grateful for the fact that this came to an end. And, you know, not to be cliche, but it's just really what the cards are telling me right now. It's like, this is a time of rejuvenation of the self, in which Mercury retrograde is perfect for that. And I know a lot of the times, like during Mercury retrograde, like exes can come back. But if that's not the case, let's say like you don't have an ex coming back, but you may have lessons presenting themselves again to you in a different way. And that's to get you to recognize how you may have taken the wrong turns. I don't even want to say wrong turns, because honestly, like I don't feel like any turn is a wrong turn. A turn is just a turn, and you know, that's just, you're just dealing with the consequences of those decisions. But actually, I'm going to clarify on this Two of Cups. Actually, I want to clarify two things. I want to clarify this Ten of Pentacles and the Two of Cups reverse. Yeah, so we have the Ace of Cups reverse. We have, what is that? Nine of Wands reverse again. And then this one up here, I'll just put here. We have the Six of Swords reverse. Yeah, so the fact that we have the Nine of Wands reverse coming out again and the Three of Pentacles coming out again reverse, it's kind of like, especially with the Ace of Cups here, it's like, don't let this like take you away from yourself. Honestly, it's like the Ace of Cups to me, while it can be saying, like, it can be saying a couple of things right now. It can be telling you like, okay, the outlook for something coming in new with this person, it feels like a very karmic relationship. It doesn't feel like it was really healthy. You know, the energy I'm picking up on it feels obviously very somber, but there is this kind of sense of like you both kind of knew like where it was going, and it's almost like it was just being dragged out, and it was this kind of like this delay of like nobody wanted to make the move of you know, setting a boundary or walking away. But it's as if the universe kind of forced its hand, and it was like, you know what, like both of y'all are on some bullshit. This needs to change because it is not healthy for either of you. And if you're not going to make the change, the universe is going to make the change. And that's what I'm seeing here with the Ten of Pentacles clarified by the Six of Swords. And so it's essentially like the universe stepping in. It's like, look, in order, like, it's interesting too, because this is the card of Mercury. And this, if you know anything about like the mystical Kabbalah or the Tree of Life, this, I believe this card is what you would see in the Sephiroth. I don't remember the name, but it's the Sephiroth that is representative of like Jesus and I think the solar plexus. And so it's like the whole lesson behind this card and that Sephiroth is essentially forgiveness. And so it's a lesson of forgiveness. And like if you've watched any of my readings, you know how I feel about forgiveness, where it's not always necessary. Like you don't have to be like, oh, I forgive you, I forgive you. And you don't even have to find forgiveness to find balance within yourself. It's like a process, and it shouldn't be something that you have to force. And so essentially the universe is kind of bringing you to this standstill. It's bringing you at the edge of that cliff, looking over out of the ocean. And the universe is like, look, you've been here before. Nine of Wands reverse with the Fool. It's like you've been here before. Are you going to continue to look out at sea and focus on the gloomy weather? Which I don't think gloomy weather is a terrible thing. I love gloomy weather, but if we're looking at it in the context of symbolism, like are you gonna focus on everything that's gone wrong, and are you gonna just like save yourself for somebody who, I don't know, sorry if you can hear my stomach. Are you just gonna like save yourself for somebody who left and wait for them to come back? Just leaving that door open, leaving that energetic door open for this person, not allowing space for other people to come in? Or are you gonna turn this Ace of Cups into the upright and use this opportunity to build yourself back up and find a deeper sense of emotional fulfillment through other areas in your life? So we're going to pull one last little pull here, and I have a question that I'd like to delve into. So what can we do right now to essentially bring ourselves out of this Nine of Wands reverse energy, bring ourselves out of the need and desire, not out of the need, but out of the desire to wait for this person or dwell on something that's happened? So let's see what Spirit has for us. How can we turn this Ace of Cups into the upright? That's essentially what I'm asking here. Of course, the High Priestess comes out at the bottom of the deck. Let's stick that right up here. So we have the Seven of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and Fire Tom, which I believe is the Knight of Wands. And so I think the main message coming through, Spirit's advice to you right now, is to really focus on your stability within the physical aspects of your life. And so it's not one of those messages that's like, hey, like bury yourself in work or ignore what you're going through, but it is a message of take this Seven of Swords. To me, the Seven of Swords represents the pain. And it's like, if you look at it here, you know, it's like the cat and mouse game. You see a cat, you know, holding a mouse's tail. Another cat's focusing on all of those crows, right? And you know, symbolism of the crow often represents like death. It's like the death card to me is like what the crow represents. And not death in the physical sense, but it's like you're focusing on all of these dead situations, or you're focusing on all the things that's gone wrong, and you're stuck in this cat and mouse game. But it's like take that energy, put that into something that will build your life, that will make your life more fulfilling, and essentially just like learn the lessons that are being presented to you right now during this retrograde period, so that you do not attract somebody else that is going to force you to learn these lessons again. So it's kind of like the universe is presenting you with this opportunity to make the change necessary now, even if it's difficult, so that way you're not forced into another situation in which a similar cycle will happen. Let's say like somebody comes in and they do the same thing that this last person did, and you have to go through this process all over again. I mean, I do feel like to some extent stuff like that can happen when we do have aspects of ourselves that we do need to heal. I feel like we do heal in layers, And so it's not like something where you'll never ever be triggered again. I feel like triggers take time to overcome. But what I see here with the Knight of Wands to me represents following your passion. Essentially, really just like taking that Seven of Swords, like investing that energy into something healthy, into something that's going to establish a more fulfilling foundation within your life. And by kind of like recycling that energy, you're going to open up space for the universe to bring in things that are going to be conducive to healthy dynamics and things that will help you build what you're already building. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like acknowledging what you're feeling, acknowledging the situation, just releasing it, to God or the universe or spirit or whatever you resonate with, and really just focusing on yourself right now is the energy that's coming through. Because I think that's the most important aspect of building a healthy relationship, is building that relationship with yourself. Because if you don't have that healthy relationship with yourself, how are you going to recognize when somebody's giving you healthy love? If you don't know how to essentially find ways to love yourself in a healthy way, it becomes difficult to recognize when others are giving us that same love. Because if all we know is dysfunction, anything outside of that may feel uncomfortable until we become comfortable with it. And if you don't have that, outlet with somebody in your life, if you don't have that healthy relationship that you're looking for, this is the opportunity to establish that with yourself. But that's really all I'm getting here. That's all Spirit has for me. I'm going to go ahead and pull an oracle card to close out the reading. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about getting some new oracle cards too. I really, really want to, because it's like, I like doing the book ones, but it's just sometimes they're really long, and I feel like if I started incorporating some that are just the quick, like little messages on them, I think it would be really, really nice. I mean, the only reason I don't do that now with these cards is because it's like, I don't have all of them. I don't have all the Kuan Yin ones memorized, and I don't want to have to read a bunch of them and then make the reading too long, because I do want to be able to get out messages with the tarot, and I like to clarify with the tarot as well. So I'm trying to figure out which decks go where. I think I used every deck today. So we're going to go ahead and close out this reading for the week with a Kuan Yin Oracle deck. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So if you have any Oracle decks that you would recommend to me, please leave me a comment. I would really like to look into some different ones. The only ones I really know of are ones that I see other readers using, and anything that I would find at Barnes & Noble, which I actually think they do have a ton. There were a few I was looking at, so we'll see. So we're going to see one more shuffle, see what Spirit wants us to close the reading with. Gates of Heaven. Card 12 comes out to a 3. We'll be reading from here. So, all beings have an ultimate spiritual destiny of happiness and freedom. Beloved Kuan Yin shines tireless compassion upon all life to this end. Yes, sometimes attachments, lower vibrational beings, entities, and elementals become frightened of divine love and believe they will do better to hide in human energy fields instead. This blocks progress towards liberation, where human beings and lower vibrational beings can pass through the gates of heaven into peace, bliss, and homecoming to the spiritual source of all life. Sometimes we need to help beings find their way to the light. They can get attached to earthly energies, people, places, or things. Like trying to enter a forbidden city, they attempt to reside where they should not, within the light of the human energy field, rather than progressing spiritually on their own journey through the gates of heaven, into a higher consciousness of bliss. Sometimes this happens because although the journey can occur, to the consciousness of lower vibrational beings, it doesn't seem possible. You may consciously sense attachments or a spiritual presence that is not of the highest vibration and needs to be released from your energy field, or you may just feel angry, tired, depleted, or not yourself sometimes. This may be because of old energies that you need to release that do not belong to you, or even from energetic influences that are not a natural part of your energy field and can be released for the greater good of all involved. The healing process below will will help you even if you are unaware of the intricacies, butchered that word, intricacies behind why you're feeling the way you do. You may have just done a cleansing, in which case this oracle is confirmation that it is working. Or if you have recently lost a beloved, this is confirmation that they are passing through and are at peace, but could benefit also from your loving prayers to them on their way, to help them on their way. This oracle may also indicate a psychic skill that you have in helping non-physical beings find their way into more peaceful consciousness. If you feel this may be the case, you would perhaps benefit from seeking out training from skilled practitioners who approach this task with love and kindness in their hearts. This oracle is also a message that there is a benefit in calling back. Oh yes, I love this part. Excuse me, I like to do this often. This oracle is also a message that there is a benefit to calling back. Okay, excuse me, I'm just completely, utterly obliterating this reading. Let me just start that over. Pretend that never happened. The oracle is also a message that there is benefit in calling back to yourself all parts of you, that leaving behind I'm sorry. These are just worded really weird sometimes to me, and it's like, my brain just cannot comprehend some of the structures of these sentences, so my bad. I'm going to have to read that one more time. This oracle is also a message that there is benefit in calling back to yourself all parts of you, that leaving any part of you attached to another's energy field out of fear, whether or not they gave you permission or encouragement to do so, is not going to help you grow anymore. The time has come to your own power and no longer seek to enter the forbidden city of another's energy field, and instead seek to pass through the gates of heaven and dwell in the palace of light within your own heart, beloved. Okay, we got through that. Yes, now we're going to do the healing. So, healing through the gates of heaven. Focus on your heart and imagine you can look up through the crown of your head, seeing a brilliant star of light above you that is pure white light, with flecks of neon violet light around the edges and in the core of that star. Imagine that light pouring down through the crown of your head, forming a star of light above your head, in the center of your forehead, in your heart center, and in your navel, and then below your feet. Imagine the light pouring down, feeling those stars and flooding through you like a river of light. Say, of my own free will, as a sovereign being of light, I now dissolve and disintegrate any contract of permission that I have ever given, consciously or unconsciously, in this or any lifetime, to any being that does not love me unconditionally to be attached to my energy field. I now release all such beings, entities, attachments, or inclusions from all dimensions of my energy field and my body. I release these now with love and peace and burn all contracts I ever made that are associated with them. Through the divine grace and my own free will, so be it. Then visualize or intend that there be a soft pink light in front of you and say, I call on the beings that love and serve this process unconditionally now to hold unconditional love and light in place. Send love to that pink light and say, to all beings and inclusions that are now leaving my energy field, you will be safe, loved, accepted, and fed in this pink light of unconditional love. You will feel great. You may go to that light now if you so choose, or return to the source of the earth as you so choose. And you must leave my energy field permanently now, through the loving grace of Kuan Yin and my own free will, so be it. Allow the love to grow, and as it starts to fade away, you will know the process is completed. Focus on the pure white light with neon violet flecks pouring through your being for 3 more slow breaths. When you are ready, just open your eyes. I really, really love this. I love this meditation method, honestly. A lot of the meditations I found in this book have helped me so much because I've kind of, tailored them to my own needs. But this was such an important message, not only just for this situation, but for anything in life. It's like we're all so easily connected to people that we need to become conscious when we have attachments that we may have let go on too long. So like if you have like an ex or something, let's say like this person that came up in the reading, and you want to release that attachment to them, that meditation method would be perfect. I really do love this oracle deck. It is very, very helpful. But that actually concludes the reading for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. If you would like to book a personal reading, you can send me an email to jzargoshepard@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at jzargoshepard. I'll leave all the details in the description. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye-bye.